Are girls ghosting you after the first date? Do they suddenly go cold on you when you thought the date was going well? My mini course, First Date Do's and Don'ts, will help you identify and correct the most common first date mistakes. The link is in the description. About a week ago, I got an email from Rico. Rico is a viewer of mine, big fan of the show, telling me about a friend of his who got dumped after his girlfriend lost weight. And if you're looking at your screen, you see the email there. It says, Donovan, I have a buddy whose long-term girlfriend dumped him after she lost weight. So I looked up some things, came across this article, and found out this is a phenomenon. 85% of marriages, he continues, where the women get weight loss surgery end in divorce. Apparently, he says, this is common knowledge for all doctors, so much so that they actually make it a part of, quote, pre-surgery counseling. Basically, these women get surgery, lose weight, and divorce the men that loved them when they were bigger, they cheat, etc. This proves, he says, that even fat women are hypergamous and kills the not all conversation. Now, Rico sent a couple of links. One link is to a forum that discusses obesity and destroyed marriages because of weight loss surgery. And that's an interesting, very interesting message board to have. The other link is an article that talks about the fact that 85% of marriages divorce after one of the spouses gets weight loss surgery. So I'm going to be talking about both. But before I get started, I'm going to repeat something that I have said again and again on my show with regards to helping your women lose weight. A man's first mistake when he decides he wants to help his girl lose weight is committing to a fat girl in the first place. There is nothing wrong with fat girls, guys, but you should not be committing to them. Number one, if you're committing to overweight women, you are a low-value male who has very few options, if any. Number two, overweight women are not sexually attractive. And when women see you with an overweight woman, your sexual market value decreases even more. And number three, she will never get thin. At least not for you, she won't. Guys, listen. When you commit to a woman, okay, what you have done is you have told her that there is nothing she needs to improve herself, right? She's already gotten what she wants for nothing, so why should she put in the work to get something she's already getting for free, for nothing? But Donovan, Devon's always trying to improve herself for you. Yes, she is. And for this reason, right? Actually, reason number one, here's why she does this. I made my expectations very clear before I committed to her. I told her that she's going to work out, she's going to keep her body tight, and she's going to work to stay sexually attractive to me. She knew that this was expected of her. So when I hire her a personal trainer and put a gym in our garage, she happily complies because she knew this was part of the gig going in. And number two, Devon knows that if she doesn't remain sexually attractive to me, she's the fuck up out of here. She and every other woman is acutely aware that time is not on her side, guys. Listen, Dev's 36. Don't get it twisted. She's still sexy as hell. Those of you guys who follow me on Instagram know that Devon is a hottie. But let's be honest, she doesn't look like she did when she was 26. On the other side of that coin, I look a hell of a lot better now at 42 than I ever did at 22. Dude, I look better at 42 than I ever did at 32. And every other woman, including Devon, are aware of this as well. But the average man doesn't make his expectations clear to his woman. This is why wives gain 30 pounds a year throughout the marriage. They don't have an incentive nor the direction from their husbands to lose weight and to stay in shape. So if and when your overweight girlfriend or wife ever does lose the weight, it is never for you, guys. When and if the weight comes off, she's out the door because her sexual market value is now higher. Well, what if your sexual market value is higher then and higher now? She wouldn't leave then, would she? You bet your ass she would leave. I don't care how high you think your sexual market value is, guys. Your soon-to-be ex knows you committed to a low-value, overweight woman. Women want men that other attractive women want. You wanted her when she was a fat ass, and as great as it was for her to be getting dick and commitment as a fatty, in the back of her mind, she knows that if you could get a thinner girl, you would have. For this reason, she always knows that your sexual market value is low, and women aren't attracted to low SMV men regardless of how low their SMV is. If you commit to an overweight female, you are 100% low value. And if her sexual market value goes up, she's out the door regardless of how much you improve yourself. Fat girls can say whatever they want about how beauty comes in all sizes and shapes. They know they're wrong. And they show this by bouncing like a bad check when they lose a bunch of weight. So if your overweight girlfriend gets a gym membership out of the blue, or maybe floats the idea of weight loss surgery to you, guys, she's already got one foot out the door. You will never enjoy her when she loses weight. She's not losing weight for you. She's losing weight for them, as in other men that are not you. Now, the reason why women leave their boyfriends and husbands when they lose weight is simple. They now have more options. That's it. When she was overweight, she didn't have many options, and the options she did have were very poor options. Guys, we talk all the time about how even fat girls are sluts, but the guys they're fucking aren't select men. They're not high-value men. Fat girls aren't fucking high-value guys. They're fucking low-value, run-of-the-mill, low-quality, thirsty dudes who have just enough desirability to sleep with after 17 tequila shots. But the more weight she loses, the higher the quality her options become. And with higher quality options comes an increased sense of self-worth and self-confidence. That includes sexual self-confidence. Guys, you put all those things together, and it is a mystery to me as to why people are always surprised that wives and girlfriends who lose a bunch of weight end up leaving their husbands and boyfriends. They're always shocked. If a woman has more options at the end of a relationship than she had at the beginning of a relationship, she will end the relationship. That is all there is to it. And this is why they leave their significant others. So let's take a look at this article entitled Divorce Surgery. It was posted on medicalbag.com. Looks like it was posted back in November of 2018. Looks like it was written by a Pierre Manzo medical doctor. And again, a big thanks goes out to Rico for submitting these articles. This is really, really good content here. I'll also be opening up the phone lines a little bit later to get you guys' thoughts as well. Over the last several years, the article starts, bariatric surgery has gained significant traction as a treatment for obesity. I have seen this result in many success stories for patients struggling with obesity. Although bariatric surgery is just one of our tools in this struggle, it is a highly effective one, particularly for people who undergo gastric bypass or the gastric sleeve procedure. These highly effective procedures generally result in a landslide of weight loss. However, while no surgery is risk-free, bariatric surgery comes with particular serious risks. For one thing, this kind of surgery starts with a patient population where obesity itself can lead to comorbidities. Comorbidities? Never heard that word before. Obese patients are also more prone to pulmonary embolism because of increased venous stasis. But there is another, quote, side effect, the author says, of bariatric surgery, one that may seem to be an odd result from the procedure. This is funny that they think it's an odd result. This is how lost people are. Throughout the years, it continues, I have noticed that my patients who undergo successful bariatric surgery seem to get divorced at a higher than average rate. It would have to be pretty high to be noticeable given that the US divorce rate is about 50%. In fact, he continues, review of the literature reveals that the rate of divorce after bariatric surgery now may be as high as 75 to 85% in the first 2 years after surgery. If the bariatric patient was obese prior to the relationship, then the risk of divorce is even higher. I suspect, he says, that the cause for this meteoric divorce rate is multifactorial. Often with significant weight loss comes increased courage, self-esteem, and self-confidence, and improved overall health. This more positive sense of self might be just the boost someone who is in a poor marriage needed to leave the relationship. On the other hand, bariatric patients who were in a good relationship before the surgery are more likely to happily adjust to the result of the radical medical weight loss. Let me just stop right there and tell you guys right now that this is 100% bullshit. It makes not one bit of difference whether or not a woman was in a good marriage or a bad marriage. As soon as she loses the weight, she is the fuck up out of there. And it's not because she's a bad person or a bad wife, guys. I know a lot of us would like to think that. No, it's because she's a woman. And a woman's sexual imperative is dictated by her hard drive, her biology. She is a slave to her biology no matter how much she wants to deviate from it. The set in stone, gospel, truth, titanium, ironclad rule of hypergamy states that a woman will always consolidate on the highest value men available to her, regardless of relationship status. And any woman watching this would be quick to say, well, Donovan, I would never leave my husband if I were hotter than I am now. I love him very much. And you want to know something? I believe you. I believe that you want to believe that you aren't like every other woman out there. But sweetheart, ladies, you cannot deprogram yourself of this software no matter how much you would like to. Listen, man, I get that women would love to think that they love unconditionally. I get it. I get that women would love to think that they're capable of real loyalty to a man. But that's just not how it is. A woman cannot deny her biological imperative in this regard any more than I as a man can deprogram myself to like beautiful women with big tits, flat stomachs, and shapely asses. It simply cannot be done. So for this article to suggest that women in healthy marriages, healthy relationships, stick around after their SMV goes from a 5 to an 8 is very cute, but very wrong. Let's continue. Based on these findings, he concludes, it seems that it would be helpful for prospective bariatric patients if their pre-surgery counseling included education regarding potential marital stressors that may occur in the wake of weight loss surgery. Also, during the first 2 years, post-surgery healthcare providers should be prepared to offer marital counseling referrals. Gentlemen, let me reiterate this. A woman's hard drive cannot be reprogrammed to be aroused by men who give their commitment to low SMV women. Guys, no amount of marriage counseling, pre-surgery counseling, post-surgery counseling, none of that can undo millions of years of biological programming and evolution. Again, I get why they're saying this, because we'd all like to think this, but anyone watching this right now knows this is not true. Okay, let's move to the next post that Rico sent on this message board. This is actually quite sad, but this is how it goes. Let me tell you my story, he says. My wife had gastric bypass surgery in November of 2007. I completely supported her decision to go this drastic route due to her high blood pressure, sleep apnea, extreme fatigue with physical activity, and her extreme displeasure with her looks. She is 5 feet, 2 inches tall, and was at that time 230 pounds. This poor guy, this poor clueless sap, actually thought his wife wanted weight loss surgery because of her high blood pressure, her sleep apnea, and his fatigue. Guys, his wife didn't give a damn about any of that stuff. She got weight loss surgery only because she didn't like the way she looked, and she knew that she didn't have the discipline to lose the weight on her own. Gentlemen, women don't do anything for their health. They don't. They don't care about their health. They don't give a shit about it. They drink too much, they do hard drugs, and they have unprotected sex with random men all the time. The only reason they lose weight and eat healthy is not to be healthier, it's to become hotter. Do you think Instagram models stay healthy for their health? Get the fuck out of here. If you offered 10 women a pill that would instantly make them hot, instantly make them a physical 10 on the outside, but have high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, and heart disease, it'll make you hot on the outside, perfect 10 on the outside, right? But on the inside, high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, heart disease. Guess what, guys? 15 women would show up and fight for those 10 pills. This man's wife had a slew of health problems, but the only number she cared about were 5, 3, and 230. Let's continue. Her post-op course went without a hitch physically, but mentally and psychologically, Over the following months, she became more cold and harsh. The intimacy in our marriage suffered related to the tension growing between us. Each time I attempted to discuss issues or feelings I was having, which is always a mistake, never discuss your feelings with your wife or girlfriend, what the fuck? Every time I attempted to discuss issues or feelings I was having, a typical response from her was to ignore it or simply tell me that I was too sensitive. Good for you, wife. Good for you. Listen, wives, girlfriends, if your boyfriend or husband's being too sensitive, tell him, shut the fuck up, you're being too fucking sensitive. Grab your balls and tell me to shut the fuck up. Eventually, he continues, she began spending more time out in the evening with the girls, which I supported fully, backed with the unending trust that she had built during our 19-year marriage. She was fat. Of course you trusted her. Who is she gonna bang? The milkman? The non-existent milkman? Exactly 1 year after her surgery, he says, after losing over 110 pounds and looking fabulous, she came to me and explained that she no longer loved me, admitting that during the preceding few months had very much enjoyed the company and attention of other men and wanted to be free, young, and wanted to play and be with other men. Of course, this was devastating, he said, and I spent the next couple of months trying desperately to win her back, blaming myself. I still love her very much, he said, and wanted our life back together. Unfortunately, that is never to be. She has taken a steady boyfriend and enjoys living the life of a single woman on the town, even though we are still married. In parentheses, he puts, however, not for much longer. We have 3 children who now have been shoved to the back of her priority list behind her new life and boyfriend. All this from the former PTA mom who would have walked through the fire for her kids and devoted wife. I really don't know who this new person is, he says, and quite frankly, she's not someone who I care to get to know. Gastric bypass surgery destroyed my marriage. I'm sharing this story, he says in conclusion, in hopes that I can spare someone else from the same fate. I still believe that gastric bypass is a good choice for some. However, I strongly suggest personal and marriage counseling long before and long after your surgery. Please don't end up like me, he pleads. Don't take anything for granted. I truly believed that the bond we had could truly survive any test. I was dead wrong. Don't think, he says, this can't happen to you. That's exactly what I thought. The fact that this dude truly believes that marriage counseling would have saved his marriage speaks to the gross lack of awareness among today's men about the true nature of women. This is exactly why I do what I do, guys. Now, some women might be watching. They might be thinking, okay, Donovan, you have a point. But a man who lost a bunch of weight would also leave his wife. I wouldn't blame him for doing so, and you shouldn't blame her for doing the same. And to that, I would say, number one, I don't blame his wife for leaving. I say this all the time, guys. If I get fat, if I lose my drive to succeed, if I became undisciplined, if I got soft, Devin has every right to dip like a video vixen. I know her love for me is 1,000% conditional. And trust me when I tell you, she knows that it's reciprocated. Number two, yes, a fat man married to a fat woman loses weight would 100% leave his wife. You're getting no argument from me there. But here's the difference between men and women in these situations. You see, as men, we understand that if we're fat and out of shape, that we don't deserve fit and beautiful women. Fit, beautiful women aren't attracted to fat guys, and that's all there is to it. We understand it, we don't complain about it, and we don't believe that we're entitled to any woman just because we have a cock and balls. We know that if we want hot girls, we need to hit the gym, stack money, and learn game. We get it. That's why the red pill community exists. Women, on the other hand, are completely the opposite. Women believe that they deserve the best men out there, regardless of their weight. They believe that they are entitled to the highest quality men, no matter what they look like. Now, the reason they believe this is because the world tells them this. The bullshit body positivity movement, fat acceptance, and beauty at any size, all of that has warped the female mind and has convinced it that even though fat, slovenly men don't deserve fit, beautiful women, fat, slovenly women deserve fit, hot guys. Take a look at your screen, guys. Take a look at your screen. And for those of you listening to the audio or on the replay, what I'm showing is a picture of an overweight woman in a blue dress with the caption, quote, "Plus-sized women admit they're not attracted to overweight men." This picture speaks to the gross double standard that is applied to overweight men and overweight women. Number one, of course plus-sized women aren't attracted to overweight men. Nobody is. Just like nobody's attracted to fat girls. And number two, notice how they call them plus-sized women and call the men overweight men. Do you see how they change the terminology when it comes to sexes? So a 300-pound woman is plus-sized, but a 300-pound man is overweight? But again, we as men, we understand that if we want access to fit, beautiful women, that we need to get fit ourselves. But plus-size women don't think they have to change anything to be attractive to high-value men. Now, part of the reason for this is that even fat girls can get laid, right? But what women of all shapes and sizes fail to understand is that just because a man wants to fuck you doesn't mean he wants to commit to you. Girls always make the egregious mistake of conflating sexual attraction with relationship attention, and the two are mutually exclusive from one another. Men know this, women do not. And because women don't understand this distinction, they don't have an incentive to lose weight. Their subconscious tells them, well, shit, if I'm getting dick here at 246 pounds on the regular, then really getting into a relationship should be easy. The result is overweight women not doing what's necessary to become attractive to attractive men because they think they don't have to. They can get all the dick they want, then wonder why they're single at 38 and 337 pounds.